The year was 2087. Humans had built small cities on Mars and were mining rocks in space, but they hadn't gone much farther. Earth was still their main home. On a quiet Tuesday morning, all the space sensors started beeping at once. Something big was coming toward Earth from the dark edges of the solar system. It was moving fast. "What is it?" asked President Garcia, her face tight with worry, as she looked at the screens in the International Space Coalition Command Center. Dr. Patel, the head scientist, shook his head. "It's huge, bigger than anything we've ever built, and it's slowing down. Whatever it is, it wants to be here." News of the object spread quickly. People around the world looked up at the sky, even though the object was still too far away to see without powerful telescopes. After so many years of wondering if humans were alone in the universe, the answer seemed to be coming straight to Earth. Commander Elena Rice didn't share the excitement. As head of Earth's defense forces, she saw danger where others saw wonder. "We should prepare for the worst," she told the Council of World Leaders. "Anything advanced enough to travel between stars is advanced enough to destroy us." Some leaders laughed at her caution. Others nodded in silent agreement. 3 days later, the giant ship stopped near Jupiter. It was beautiful in a strange way. A massive structure of dark metal and glowing blue lights, shaped like a cross between a star and a blade. Then it spoke. The message came through on every radio, TV, and communication device on Earth and Mars at the same time. "People of Earth, your resources are now property of the Axian Empire. Prepare for integration or elimination. You have 14 Earth days to decide." The voice was clear, perfect English with no accent, cold and sure, like the message was just a normal business deal. Panic spread across Earth. Some people ran to the countryside. Others cleared store shelves of food and water. World leaders gathered in emergency meetings. "We should try to talk to them," said the European Union president. "Learn what they want." "We should surrender," said another leader. "Look at that ship. They could wipe us out in seconds." "We should fight," said a third. "Earth belongs to humans." Commander Rice listened to them argue for hours. When finally asked for her opinion, she stood up. The room went quiet. "Their technology is far beyond ours," she said simply. "They crossed the stars to reach us, but they made one mistake." "What mistake?" asked President Garcia. "They think we're weak," Rice answered. Her eyes were hard as she looked around the room. "Send them one message. Attempt invasion at your own risk. Nothing more." The council erupted in shouts. Some called her crazy. Others said she would doom humanity. But something in Rice's calm confidence silenced them all. She knew something they didn't. "Send the message," ordered President Garcia finally. "And Commander Rice, I hope you have a plan to back up those brave words." Rice nodded once. "I've been planning for this day my entire career, Madam President." As the short message was sent toward the waiting alien ship, Rice walked out of the meeting room. She had calls to make, people to mobilize, and a defense to prepare. The aliens would soon learn that humans weren't as helpless as they appeared. They had given Earth one warning. Earth had returned the favor. 3 weeks passed. The huge alien ship stayed near Jupiter, watching Earth. It sent small scout ships that circled the planet, taking pictures and scanning everything. They didn't attack, but everyone knew they were studying Earth's defenses. Commander Elena Rice didn't waste a single minute. As soon as she left the meeting with world leaders, she activated something called Protocol Omega. Almost no one knew this plan existed until now. Under every major city on Earth, hidden doors opened. Deep underground facilities that had been built in secret over decades powered up their lights. Scientists and soldiers who had trained for this day hurried to their stations. "How long have these places been here?" asked President Garcia when Reyes showed her the main command center beneath the ocean floor near Hawaii. 50 years, Reyes answered. After the Roswell incident in 1947, some people in government realized we weren't alone. They started preparing, just in case. In one of the deepest facilities beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Marcus Chen worked day and night. He was a brilliant scientist whose ideas about quantum physics had been laughed at by other scientists for years. Now his crazy theories were Earth's best hope. Will it work? Rice asked him, looking at the complex machine his team was building. Dr. Chen wiped sweat from his forehead. In theory, yes. But we've never tested it at full power. It could protect the whole planet, or it might fail completely. We have 14 days, Rice told him. Make it work. On the surface, life tried to continue normally. Most people didn't know about the secret preparations happening underground. Governments told their citizens to stay calm and go about their daily business. But many people felt the tension in the air. Some packed bags and headed to remote areas. Others prayed or partied like the world might end soon. Military vehicles moved into position around the world, but they were disguised as normal trucks or buses. New satellites went up into space, but news reports called them weather monitoring stations. Everything was done quietly, carefully. They think we're primitive, Rice told her top generals in a secret meeting. That's our only advantage right now. Let them keep thinking it. The generals nodded. One asked, "But Commander, even with all our secret technology, can we really fight something that crossed the stars to get here?" Rice looked at the latest images of the alien ship. It was massive, probably carrying thousands of soldiers and weapons Earth had never seen before. "We don't need to defeat their entire empire," she said. "We just need to make attacking Earth too costly for them. No bully picks on someone who can punch back hard enough." In his underwater lab, Dr. Chen finally had a breakthrough. His quantum field disruptor successfully disabled all electronic devices in a test room. Now they needed to scale it up to protect the entire planet. "It's like a shield," he explained to Rice. "But instead of blocking their weapons, it stops their technology from working at all." Above them, in space, the alien ship finally moved. It was coming closer to Earth. Time was running out. The day finally came when the aliens decided to show themselves. A small shuttle broke away from the main ship and headed toward Earth. World leaders argued about where it should land. In the end, they chose a flat area in the Sahara Desert, far from any city. Commander Reyes stood with 5 world leaders, including President Garcia, as the alien shuttle touched down. The ship was beautiful, shiny and smooth, with no visible engines. It seemed to float more than fly. A door opened without a sound, and a ramp extended to the sand. Out walked the alien. He, if it was a he, looked almost human, but also very different. He was tall, about 7 feet, with skin so clear you could see blue veins glowing underneath. His eyes were large and completely black, with no whites at all. He walked with perfect balance, like a dancer. "I am Ambassador Krell of the Axian Empire," he said in that same perfect English they had heard in the first message. His mouth didn't move exactly like a human's when he spoke. "I bring greetings from Emperor Vexorn, ruler of 72 star systems and 300 species." President Garcia stepped forward. "We welcome you to Earth, Ambassador Krell. We are honored by your visit." Krell tilted his head slightly. "Honored is irrelevant. I am here to discuss your surrender and integration into the Empire." The coldness in his voice made some of the leaders step back. But Commander Reyes moved forward, standing next to President Garcia. "We would like to know more about what integration means," Reyes said calmly. Krell raised his hand, and suddenly the air in front of him lit up with images, planets, stars, and alien cities. "The Axian Empire brings order to chaos," he explained. "Most species join us peacefully. They provide resources, accept our leadership, and in return, receive protection and technology." The images changed to show beautiful alien cities and spaceships. "And those who refuse?" asked Rice. Without changing his expression, Krell showed new images, planets burning, alien creatures running from soldiers, whole worlds turned to ash. "Resistance has always proven regrettable," Krell said. His black eyes showed no emotion at all. The world leaders looked pale. One whispered to another, "We have no choice." Reyes studied the alien carefully. "Your empire must be very powerful to control so many worlds." "We have ruled the galaxy for 3,000 years, Krell replied. "Your civilization is young. Your technology, primitive. You have barely left your own planet." Reyes nodded slowly. "We need time to prepare our people for such a big change. This is all very new to us." Krell seemed to consider this. "Your request is reasonable. You have 7 Earth days to inform your population and prepare for our arrival. Then we begin our harvest regardless of your decision." "Harvest?" President Garcia asked, her voice shaking slightly. "Your resources," Krell explained. "Minerals, water, biological samples. Some of your people for study and labor. Nothing wasteful." After Krell returned to his shuttle, the leaders gathered around Reyes. 7 days, one of them said, panic in his voice. "What can we possibly do in 7 days?" Reyes watched the shuttle rise into the sky. "Exactly what we've been doing for the past 3 weeks, she answered. "But faster." As soon as Ambassador Krell's shuttle disappeared into the sky, Commander Reyes pulled out her secure phone. "This is Reyes. Initiate Phase 3 of Protocol Omega. We have 7 days." Around the world, things started moving even faster. Trucks carried special equipment to hidden places. Workers installed new parts on satellites in space. Soldiers moved into position near major cities, but stayed hidden. The Axian Empire watched all this from their ship. Their computers analyzed Earth's TV, radio, and internet signals. They saw exactly what Commander Reyes wanted them to see: panic, arguments, and confusion. They thought humans were fighting among themselves, unable to agree on what to do. "Perfect," Reyes said when she saw the reports. "They think we're weak and divided." Deep underwater, in places the aliens couldn't scan, Earth's real preparations were happening. Submarine bases that didn't exist on any public map were busy with activity. One of these submarines, the U.S. Defender, was special. It carried something no alien would expect humans to have. Captain James Harris stood on the bridge of the Defender, looking at the experimental drive system his ship carried. It wasn't like normal submarine engines. It was designed based on technology humans had been developing in secret for decades. "Commander Reyes is on the line for you, sir," his communications officer said. Harris picked up the secure phone. "Harris here. Captain, is the Phoenix drive ready?" Reyes asked without any greeting. "Yes, Mom. We can activate it whenever you give the order." "Good. Stay in position and wait for my signal. We may need to move quickly when the time comes." After hanging up, Harris looked at his crew. These men and women were the best of the best, chosen because they could keep secrets and perform under pressure. "The aliens think we've never left our solar system," Harris told them. "They don't know why." His second-in-command, Lieutenant Chen, nodded. "They think we're trapped in our cradle." "Exactly," Harris said. "They don't understand that we stayed by choice." For generations, humans had hidden their true capabilities from watching eyes in space. The public thought space exploration was moving slowly. Only a few knew the truth. Earth had technology far beyond what was shown to the world. Above them, Dr. Marcus Chen, no relation to the lieutenant, finished the final adjustments to his quantum field disruptor. This was the key to Earth's defense, a device that could disable advanced technology like the kind the aliens used. "Will it work across the whole planet?" Reyes asked him. "If we use the satellite network to spread the effect, yes," Dr. Chen answered. "But we need to time it perfectly, and it will only work once before they adapt." "Once is all we need," Reyes said. In space, the Axian mothership launched scout ships toward Earth. They thought they were being careful, testing Earth's defenses before the main invasion. Reyes watched them on radar and gave an order: activate the outer defense grid. Hundreds of satellites that had seemed ordinary suddenly powered up, creating an invisible network around Earth. The scout ships passed through it, their systems registering nothing unusual. What they didn't know was that each ship was now being tagged and tracked. When the time came, Earth would know exactly where to strike. The trap was set. Now they just had to wait for the aliens to spring it. 3 days before the Axion deadline, Commander Reyes called an emergency meeting. The top military leaders and scientists from around the world gathered in the deepest level of the underwater base. This meeting was so secret that even President Garcia had to come alone, with no security team. "It's time everyone knew the full truth," Reyes said once the room was secure. She pressed a button, and the wall behind her turned into a giant screen. It showed pictures of strange metal pieces and old documents. In 1947, something crashed in Roswell, New Mexico. It wasn't a weather balloon like the public was told. It was an alien scout ship. Gasps filled the room. Some of the people there already knew this, but many did not. "Since then, we've been hiding our true capabilities," Reyes continued. "The space program the public sees is just for show. The real work has been happening underground and underwater, where no one can see it." Dr. Chen stepped forward. He pulled a small metal device from his pocket. It glowed with a soft blue light. "This is the heart of our defense system," he explained. "The quantum field disruptor. When activated, it will disable any advanced technology within its range. We reverse-engineered it from the tech we found in 1947. "Why keep it secret all this time?" asked one of the generals. "We could have advanced our civilization by centuries." Reyes pointed to another image on the screen, a distant galaxy seen through a powerful telescope. "Because 40 years ago, our long-range telescopes observed the Axion Empire in action. We watched them conquer world after world, and we realized something important. They target developing worlds that have just discovered space travel but aren't advanced enough to defend themselves." The room went silent as everyone understood what she was saying. "So we pretended to be primitive," President Garcia whispered. "We made sure they would underestimate us." "Exactly," Reyes nodded. "We kept our true technology hidden. We developed our defenses in secret, and we waited for them to come, knowing they eventually would." Outside the meeting room, regular people on Earth were finally being told that aliens were real. Emergency broadcasts went out worldwide. Most people still didn't know about the secret preparations, but they were given instructions. "Stay indoors when the invasion begins. Don't panic. Follow government directions." In space, the Axion mothership moved closer to Earth. Hundreds of smaller ships broke away from it. Scout ships, landing vessels, harvesting machines. They formed into attack groups, each targeting a different part of Earth. In the underwater command center, Reyes watched all this on radar. She turned to Dr. Chen. "How much longer until the disruptor is ready?" "We need 6 more hours to sync it with all the satellites," he answered, his fingers flying over a keyboard. Reyes frowned. "We may not have 6 hours. They're moving faster than expected." The first wave of alien ships entered Earth's atmosphere. They flew low over oceans and mountains, heading toward major cities. People looked up and saw strange lights in the sky. The invasion had begun. "Activate what we have ready now," Reyes ordered. "We can't wait any longer." Dr. Chen nodded and pressed a button on his console. May it be enough. Around the world, the hidden defenses of Earth came to life, ready to fight for humanity's survival. The Axion dropships were beautiful to watch as they descended through Earth's clouds. They glowed with blue and purple lights, moving smoothly like giant metal birds. People in cities around the world looked up in fear and wonder. Inside the underwater command center, Commander Reyes watched the ships on the big screen. Beside her, Dr. Chen's fingers moved quickly over his control panel. "Are you ready?" Reyes asked, her voice calm despite the tension in the room. "Almost," Dr. Chen answered. Sweat dripped down his face. "Let them get closer. The effect will be stronger." The Axion ships continued their descent. From the mothership in orbit, Ambassador Krell observed Earth's cities. There were no defenses, no weapons firing at his ships. Just as he expected, humans were too primitive and too scared to fight back. "Begin the harvest," Krell ordered. "Start with their largest cities." The first wave of dropships reached the lower atmosphere, about 5 miles above major cities. They opened their weapon bays, preparing to disable Earth's power systems before landing. In the command center, a red light began flashing. "Now," Reyes shouted. Dr. Chen pressed a final button. Quantum field disruptor activated. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, across the world, the Axion ships suddenly stopped glowing. Their smooth flight became wobbly. Their engines sputtered and died. On the screen, Reyes watched as alien ships began falling from the sky. But they didn't crash into cities. Instead, they tumbled into empty fields, deserts, and oceans, exactly where Reyes had calculated they would land if their engines failed at that altitude. "How?" Dr. Chen gasped, looking at the screen. "How did you know exactly where they would fall?" "Physics," Reyes answered with a small smile. "We've been tracking their approach vectors for days. We activated the disruptor at precisely the right moment to ensure minimal civilian casualties." On his ship in orbit, Ambassador Krell watched in shock as the first wave of dropships crashed. Nothing like this had ever happened before. No primitive species had ever defeated Axion technology. "What deception is this?" he demanded, sending a message to Earth. Reyes answered him personally. "We warned you once. That was courtesy. What follows is justice." Krell's black eyes narrowed. "This changes nothing. The Empire has conquered 300 species. You cannot stop us." He ordered the main invasion force to launch, thousands of vessels carrying troops and harvesting equipment. In the underwater base, Reyes nodded to Dr. Chen. "Full power now." Dr. Chen activated the quantum field disruptor at maximum strength. The effect spread through Earth's atmosphere like an invisible wave. Throughout the sky, Axion ships began dropping like stones. Those that managed emergency landings were quickly surrounded by Earth's combined military forces, using weapons specifically designed to penetrate Axion armor. In orbit, Captain Harris and the crew of the U.S. Defender received their signal. The submarine rose from its underwater hiding place, but it didn't stop at the surface. It kept rising, straight up into the sky, its hull changing shape as the Phoenix Drive activated. Other vessels like it emerged from oceans around the world, revealing humanity's secret space force. The Axion mothership, suddenly facing an unexpected fleet of Earth vessels, began to retreat. "Should we pursue?" Captain Harris asked Reyes over the communication link. "Not yet," she replied. "First, let's deal with those who have already landed. Then we'll show them what happens when you threaten Earth." Far away, on a beautiful planet with 3 moons, Emperor Vexorn sat on his crystal throne. The throne room was huge, with walls made of a strange metal that changed colors as you looked at it. Important aliens from many worlds stood around him, waiting for his orders. A messenger ran into the room and bowed low before the Emperor. "Great Emperor, I bring news from Earth." "The small blue planet?" Vexorn asked. He sounded bored. The Empire took over new planets all the time. Why should this one matter? "Yes, Emperor, but something unexpected has happened. The humans, they defeated our first attack." The room went completely silent. In 3,000 years of conquering planets, the Axion Empire had never failed in a first attack. Emperor Vexorn sat up straight in his throne. He was over 9 feet tall, with skin like polished black stone and eyes that glowed red. "Explain." The messenger told him everything. How the human technology had somehow disabled the Axion ships, how the humans had hidden space vessels, how they seemed prepared for the invasion. Instead of getting angry, the Emperor became interested. "This species requires my personal attention," he told his advisors. He stood up from his throne. "Prepare my warship. I will go to Earth myself. Back on Earth, Commander Rise was talking to a captured Axion officer. They sat in a room deep underground, with armed guards watching the alien carefully. Why did you choose Earth? Rise asked. There are other planets in our galaxy. The alien, whose name was Captain Zerex, looked at her with his black eyes. We scan for certain signs, planets that have just developed space travel but lack advanced defenses. You fit the profile perfectly. But we were ready for you, Rise said. Zerex nodded slowly. You were supposed to be easy prey. How did you develop quantum disruption technology without venturing beyond your system? Rise smiled a little. We had visitors before you. They were kinder in their approach and more generous with their knowledge. The alien's eyes widened. This was shocking news. You have allies among the stars. Who? Rise didn't answer. She didn't need to. Let the Axion Empire worry about who might be helping humans. In the main command center, Dr. Chen was studying the captured Axion ships. Their technology is amazing, he told President Garcia. But not as advanced as they think. There are weaknesses we can exploit. Can we use their own ships against them? The president asked. Better, Dr. Chen replied. We can use their communication systems to broadcast to the entire empire. When Rise heard this plan, she immediately approved it. We've studied their communication networks. Now we broadcast their failure to the galaxy. Earth's hidden space fleet, led by Captain Harris, began transmitting a message to every world under Axion control. The message showed images of defeated Axion forces and captured vessels. It ended with a simple statement. Resistance is possible. Earth stands ready to help any world that wishes to be free. Across the galaxy, enslaved species watched this message in secret. Hope began to spread among worlds that had lived under Axion rule for generations. And through the darkness of space, Emperor Vexorn's warship approached Earth. It was massive, making the first mothership look small in comparison. The real test of Earth's defenses was about to begin. As the Axion mothership retreated to a safer position away from Earth, Commander Reyes gathered her top leaders for an emergency meeting. The first battle had been won, but the war was far from over. We hurt them, but they'll be back, she told the group. And next time, they'll be ready for our quantum disruptor. Captain Harris joined the meeting through a secure video link from his spacecraft. His ship and the rest of Earth's secret fleet were following the retreating Axion vessels at a safe distance. Their ships are regrouping near Mars, Harris reported. They seem confused by our resistance. Now is the perfect time to strike back. Dr. Chen had been studying the captured Axion technology day and night. He looked tired but excited as he showed the group his findings on a large screen. Their ships are fast, but our Phoenix drive is actually more advanced in some ways, he explained. We can reach their core worlds if we want to. President Garcia frowned. Are you suggesting we attack their home planets? We're defenders, not conquerors. Ray shook her head. Not attack. Communicate. We've already sent one message, but we can do more. She turned to Dr. Chen. What have you learned about their empire's structure? It's vast but fragile, Dr. Chen replied. Built on fear rather than loyalty. Most worlds don't want to be part of the empire. They were forced to join, just like the actions planned for Earth. This gave Rise an idea. For centuries, Earth had developed in isolation, watching the stars and preparing defenses. Now it was time to use that knowledge. If we can reach their controlled worlds directly, show them our victory, she began. We could start a rebellion across the entire empire. Harris finished, understanding her plan. The next day, Earth's fleet made its move. Instead of attacking the regrouped Axion ships, they jumped past them, using the Phoenix drive to travel faster than the aliens thought possible for humans. The Axion commanders were shocked. One moment Earth's ships were there. The next they had disappeared in flashes of golden light. Where did they go? Ambassador Krell demanded, his black eyes wide with fear for the first time. The answer came soon enough. Earth's ships appeared near key action worlds, using captured navigation data to find them. But they didn't fire weapons or attack. Instead, they'd broadcast images and videos, showing Earth's successful defense, the defeated Axion ships, and captured Axion soldiers being treated well as prisoners. The message was clear. The Axion Empire could be defeated. Earth had done it. Others could too. On dozens of worlds, enslaved species watched these broadcasts with growing hope. Small rebellions that had been crushed before now grew larger. Workers refused to harvest resources for the Empire. Soldiers began to question their orders. Back on Earth, Rise received reports of these uprisings with satisfaction. The Axion Empire rules through fear, she told President Garcia. We're giving their subjects courage. But the celebration was short-lived. Earth's long-range sensors detected a massive object entering the solar system, far larger than any ship they had seen before. Emperor Vexorn's personal warship, Captain Harris reported grimly. It's heading straight for Earth. Rise looked at the image of the approaching vessel. It was beautiful and terrifying, like a mountain of black crystal moving through space. Call back our fleet, she ordered. We need to prepare for the Emperor. Emperor Vexorn's warship entered Earth's solar system like a dark star. It moved past Jupiter and Mars without slowing down. Earth's sensors showed it was nearly 10 miles long, shaped like a sharp black diamond that seemed to swallow light rather than reflect it. Commander Rice watched it approach on the main screen in the command center. Everyone expected her to order an attack, but instead, she said something surprising. Stand down all weapons. Let him come. President Garcia looked at her in shock. Are you surrendering? No, Rise replied with a small smile. I'm setting a trap. The Emperor is coming personally because we've hurt his pride. Let's use that against him. The Emperor's vessel moved into Earth orbit, much closer than the first mothership had dared to come. It hung over the planet like a black moon, casting a shadow that could be seen from the ground. Then came a message, broadcast worldwide. I am Emperor Vexorn of the Axion Empire, ruler of 1,000 worlds. I wish to meet with Earth's leaders. Now, instead of meeting in a remote location like the desert, Rise suggested the United Nations building in New York City. It was a bold move, bringing the alien emperor into one of Earth's largest cities. World leaders gathered in the General Assembly Hall, nervously waiting. Commander Reyes stood with President Garcia at the front of the room. Dr. Chen was there too, holding a small device hidden in his pocket. Suddenly, the air in the center of the room shimmered, and Emperor Vexorn appeared. He didn't come in a ship. He simply teleported directly into the building. Everyone gasped. The Emperor was magnificent and terrifying. He stood 9 feet tall with skin like polished black stone. His eyes glowed red, and he wore armor made of a strange metal that moved like liquid. 4 guards appeared beside him, each holding weapons that hummed with energy. Your resistance is unprecedented, the Emperor said. His voice was deep and smooth, like thunder that could speak. Impressive, but ultimately futile. I command 1,000 worlds. Ray stepped forward, showing no fear. Yet you came personally to one. Why? The Emperor studied her with his glowing eyes. Curiosity. In 3 millennia, no species has surprised us as you have. Perhaps you should have studied us more carefully before trying to conquer us, Rise replied. The Emperor laughed, a sound like distant bells. Your bravery is admirable but misplaced. My personal warship carries weapons that could turn your oceans to steam. You cannot win. We already have, Ray said. She nodded to Dr. Chen, who pressed a button on his hidden device. Nothing visible happened, but the Emperor suddenly frowned. He raised his hand to activate his teleporter, but nothing happened. What is this? He demanded, his voice no longer smooth but sharp with anger. We've identified and disabled your faster-than-light communication network, Rise explained. You're stranded here now, just as your reinforcements are stranded halfway across the galaxy. For the first time in his 3,000-year life, Emperor Vexorn felt something new. Uncertainty. He was alone on an alien world, cut off from his empire, facing humans who were far more advanced than he had believed possible. "You have my attention," the Emperor said finally. "What do you want?" Commander Rise looked Emperor Vexorn directly in his glowing red eyes. The giant alien ruler stood before her, cut off from his empire and facing humanity at its strongest. This was the moment everything had been leading to. "We have no interest in conquering your worlds," Rise said, her voice calm and clear in the silent room. "But the era of Axian expansion ends today." She pressed a button, and images appeared on the large screens around the United Nations Hall. They showed Earth's fleet, now positioned near key Axian worlds. The ships had used the Emperor's own secret hyperspace routes to reach these locations. "We could destroy your empire," Rise continued. "Your subjects are already rebelling. Without your leadership, the Axian Empire would fall apart within days." The Emperor's face remained calm, but his red eyes flashed with anger. "Then why am I still alive? If you can defeat me, why talk at all?" President Garcia stepped forward. "Because humans are different from the Axians. We don't want to rule others. We want peace." "Peace," the Emperor repeated the word as if it was new to him. "What does that mean to you?" Ray showed another image on the screen, a design for a space station at a neutral location between star systems. "We propose a galactic council," she explained, "with equal representation for all species. No more conquering, no more harvesting. Every world would have a voice." The Emperor was silent for a long moment. Then, surprisingly, he laughed. But this time, it wasn't a mocking laugh. It sounded almost relieved. 3,000 years of dominance, he mused. Perhaps it is time for evolution. The Empire began as a way to unite worlds against a common enemy. Somewhere along the way, we became what we once fought against. 1 year later, on a beautiful space station built together by humans and former Axian subjects, representatives from Earth joined delegates from 73 worlds. The station floated in space at a point exactly between star systems, neutral ground for all. Captain Harris, now Admiral Harris, stood beside Commander Reyes as Emperor Vexorn, now simply Delegate Vexorn, approached them. He no longer wore his imperial armor, instead dressed in simpler clothes that still showed his high status. "You could have destroyed us," the former emperor acknowledged. "Why didn't you?" Reyes smiled. "Because true strength isn't measured by conquest, but by restraint. You targeted Earth and received one warning. The rest of the galaxy deserves the same chance we took for ourselves, the freedom to choose their own destiny." As the Galactic Council began its first official meeting, humans took their place among the stars. Not as conquerors or victims, but as peacemakers. President Garcia, speaking to Earth's citizens about the new alliance, summed it up perfectly. "We stayed hidden in our solar system for generations, watching and learning. We saw the mistakes other civilizations made. Now we can help build something better. A galaxy where power doesn't come from fear, but from cooperation." The Axian Empire had targeted Earth, thinking it would be an easy conquest. Instead, they found a species that had been preparing for centuries, a species that gave them just one warning before changing the course of galactic history forever. And across the stars, on worlds both familiar and strange, billions of beings looked up at their skies with something new in their hearts: hope.